Welcome back to Ultramorons. I'm your host, as usual, Lane, joined with
Connor, back again.
Now, in this episode, things are going to be a little different because we're jumping back in time, right after Istvaan V. We're covering Corvus, Corax, and the Raven Guard. What happened to them after that whole dastardly thing on Istvaan V?
Yeah.
Because we kind of missed it, honestly. I'll admit it. I missed it. I forgot about it. And so we need to go back and cover that because it's important. And yes, Corvus, Corax finally gets some coverage.
Got it. Yeah. I know, I feel like the only times we mention, kind of the Raven Guard, they're like, oh, they're with the Shattered Legions, and they kind of are just there.
And like Sharokin when he shot Fulgrim.
Right? Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So we're going to get into that a little bit more. So, and before even Istvaan V, we're going 15 years before that to start off here.
Double time travel.
We're time traveling completely 20 years ago. So 15 years before Istvaan V, Corax stood in the Redarth Valley at the head of 80,000 Raven Guard, accepting Istvaan's surrender at the close of a war he'd already won, close of a war. And he says, not conquered, not subjugated, but free men who have shown courage and pride in defending their values, who have seen the light of the imperial truth and now welcome the benefits it will bring. So that's Corax's whole thing. He hates slavery. He does not like oppression. He does not like tyranny. Ironic.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. So when he took Istvaan's system into compliance, he did it through diplomacy. Never through killing. I mean, obviously, always get to kill.
Yeah.
Especially in 40K. But it was always for him, it's like, we can make people join us through good things. And I don't know how far you're into Horus Rising now, but even in the beginning, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Don't just go in there and blow everybody up and say, all right, we're here to rescue you. It's more, it's very diplomatic.
Right. I know in Horus Rising, it was like, oh, they're only, not being diplomatic because they killed, I can't remember what's his name, but one of the Mournfall people.
Yeah, it wasn't Jubal. It was,
I can't remember because he's there for like 5 minutes.
Right. They bring him up a lot, but I don't think he's even in. I think he's barely even in the book.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but yes.
But yeah.
Actually, Horus even gives him leeway on that. He says, oh, maybe it was an accident. But then the fact that they kill another one later on, he's like, all right, 2 times you're out.
Yeah.
So we're going to, Istvaan V was brought into compliance, and then we know what happened there. We don't need to go over it 1,000 times. And we're going to go to it right now. And he's kind of sitting there not dying, but about to die. And world eaters are coming towards him, and he sees these missiles overhead, and he sees Angron moving towards him. And him and his Raven Guard are fighting as best as they can. This is not their style. They don't just fight out in the open like this, picking people up.
Yeah, and this is not Demon Angron. This is before that.
Yeah, so this is on 5 Angron, where he's still, the Red Angel. Yeah, he's not a demon. No, this is So that would be crazy if he was a demon at this point, for many reasons. But one, it's like, I don't think you're making that out of here.
Nice.
So Corax is ready to die. He's like, I'm going to kill Angron at least to get him with me. And this guy, Valerius, says, we have a short window of evacuation. Board as soon as you are able. And he hears a voice of a guy named Bran. And there was a captain that was left in charge of Deliverance, which is Corvus's home planet, has somehow brought the Legion's entire garrison fleet to Istvaan to pull Corvus out. And there are dropships descending through these skies, trying to navigate around these world eaters. And Corax can use these ships to get his survivors on board to leave. Perfect timing, right? And Aloni, who's another one of the Raven Guard, says 98 days is how long they were there for before they got rescued.
On Istvaan?
Yes.
How much?
98 days of killing. Yeah, it was a very long time. And Corax says, I came to Istvaan with 80,000 warriors. I leave with less than 3,000. So he is depleted. He's got nothing.
Yeah.
On the dropship, Corax kind of goes back through his mind of this 98 days, and he remembers Curze. Because who doesn't remember Curze, right? Obviously, what we talked about last time was he got shot into space. So,
yes.
But he's here now.
Yeah.
And Corax came face to face with him, but he saw something in Curze that he sees in himself, and it says they were molded of the same stuff. Corax and Curze, creatures born and raised in the shadow and fear. So Curze, grew up alone on the streets of Nostromo, Quintus, evil Night City. Literally, Nostromo doesn't have a sun that radiates light, so it's dark all the time. So it's evil all the time.
Okay.
It's literally Night City.
Yeah,
not cyberpunk, right?
Right. I'm imagining Gotham City.
Yes,
he's
100%.
Yeah.
And Corax grew up on the tunnels of a prison moon, so he was kind of a slave. And so he can see that. Corax sees it in Curze, and Curze can see it in him. And it says their lives are a toss of a coin apart. They could have been switched positions.
Right.
But Corax had people raise him with compassion, and Curze didn't. Curze was raised by criminals and killers and murderers. And Corax had cool other prisoner slaves guys that were like, no, you shouldn't kill people,
Yeah.
So he ran away from this, right? Corax did, because he doesn't want to think about that too much.
Mhm.
So eventually, the dropship closed in on Bran's battle barge, the Avenger, and the docking bay. The survivors filed down the ramps, crowd of serfs, apothecaries, fresh ammunition. Every legionary is wearing like patchworks of different armor that they had scavenged from all the different legions. I mean, it's 98 days. So after their armor gets broken, I guess I'll take that Salamander's armor, put it on mine. Like you're using what you can.
Yeah.
They're surviving after a certain point. So Bran finds his brother, Agapito, and he says, I knew you would be alive, too stubborn to let something like this kill you. So here's a picture of Bran. There's Bran. There's Agapito. Agapito has a kind of, they're brothers. Obviously, you can't tell because wearing a helmet, but yes.
Yeah.
Not like battle brothers, literally
Like-
brothers of, like blood brothers.
Yeah. Okay.
Just make that clear. Because I know they say brothers a lot in 40K.
Right.
Brother. I mean, technically are brothers because gene seed and all that, but
Yeah, I guess.
but it's not like they were born of the same thing. It's not like Primarch where they're literally brothers because they have the same mom and dad.
Right. Yeah. They were related pre
Surgery.
like Space Marine stuff.
2 days out from Istvaan, Corax reorganized what's left of his legion into 3 companies. The Talons under Agapito, the Falcons under a guy named Aloni Tev. And Aloni Tev, do I have a picture of him? I do not. Ah, well. And Aloni Tev, and the Hawks under Solaro On, who is the youngest of the commanders and is really not that old at all, right? I don't know how old he is specifically. I don't know if it says, but he's definitely the youngest out of everybody. But he was there when Corax was freed of Deliverance. So that's why Corax remembers him. And so that's a Deliverance-born child.
Okay.
So all 4 of them, plus Bran, gather around at the strategium table, and they're kind of making their plans here because they basically run the Avenger on low power. So people can't pick them up, right? We talked about this before in the Alpha Legion's book, how they turn the ship off and let it kind of float around in space. So this looks like space debris. And then when you're ready to go, you turn it on. They're kind of doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
And they also have technology, Raven Guard do, where they can almost, since they're running low power, they can run a shield that makes them look invisible as well, scanners. So you really wouldn't see unless you bumped into them, almost, type of stuff.
Yeah.
So Solaro On says, word of the rest of the fleet. Any sign that any of our ships escaped? And Bronn he's like, I don't think so. Probably not. Corax says, his own flagship, the Shadow of the Emperor, went down with the escort flotilla before the shields could even get up. And nobody in the room says anything after that. And they're just like, yeah, probably not then. This is probably it. So this old woman who gives a report, Controller Natsuri Efrina, who is a native of Deliverance, and she's very old, deeply wrinkled skin. She has to wear augmetic braces on her fingers because they're just so arthritic. So she probably has some type of, I think it's a rejuvenate surgery to keep her alive. But she's definitely older.
Okay.
But it says she'd always been cool-headed, even as an infant, right? So she's trying to run some numbers here. This is a regular human, mind you. Obviously no Space Marine, but yes. So, flashback. We're going back. Again, this one jumps around a lot, because we're going to go back to his childhood. Corvus Corax's childhood.
Right, okay.
So, there is a moon called... So, yes, a prison planet that is orbiting the Forge world, Kiavahr. And it is a world that Corax one day frees and names Deliverance. We're not there yet. So we're going decades back when he's a baby, basically. And his little pod breaks out of his pod. And all he has is a memory of cold and dark. And what's so interesting about Primarchs is they are so enhanced. They're almost gods. Like he can just smell the air chemistry. He can feel the pressure of gravity, and he could, in 7,641 languages, he somehow already knew. Like, that's what the Primarchs are working with here. They're so advanced that they can taste the air and tell you, like, oh, it's 5% nitrogen, 18% oxygen, 14%, argon. Like, they're insane. So he is doing that as a baby.
Okay.
And then he hears these voices, human voices, breaking through this rock with a drill cutting towards him. And all of a sudden, these miners cut through in his buried chamber, and these are slaves, right? They're starved, aged, gulag type guys. And he sees there is a small girl that is with a mining cart, and her hair is pale, and she's covered like rock dust. And Overseer pulls her back when she gets too close. And the boy, Corvus, decides, I don't like that man who pulled that girl away. So he breaks Overseer's wrist before he can even like go to touch her again. On this baby, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're like little babies, like infants. They're probably like toddlers, they're probably walking. Obviously, because they have such a advanced like growth.
Right.
Like, I don't know if we talked about, but like Angron killed 5 Eldar when his pod landed on Nuceria as like a child. And that's what allowed them to capture him and put the butcher's nails in his brain.
Yeah.
Because he was so weak from it. So, but it's just like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, sure. Just a toddler, like
it's Superman
snapping wrists.
Yeah, he's a Superman going, don't touch her.
Yeah, I know. I think we talked about with like Perturabo, with like the difference between his sister growing up and then him.
Yeah, like she's like 20 years older than, but yet he's like a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he breaks the wrist and he takes the whip out of the air and he takes the Overseer's helmet off and he gives it to the girl instead. And she says, what's your name? And and then she says, mine is Natsuri or Nasturi Afrina. And he doesn't know his name because he's a baby or a child or whatever. He says 19. I'm number 19 because his pod had 19 on it.
Okay.
So back in the present, this is a lot of flashbacks jumping forward here. So, and also we're doing like a time jump because we're going to Istvaan V. Bear with me. This is going to be a bit of a keeping up type thing here.
Yeah.
So back in the present, the scans are empty, right? They have no sign of the Therian cohort, which is their Imperial army backing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only 30 enemy vessels are crowding the system, right? So they like, okay, we can't find our guys, but maybe we can escape. So, but they are getting closer and closer to bumping into them. So Marcus Valerius, do I have a picture of Valerius? There he is. Marcus Valerius, he's a human. He's an Imperial Guardsman.
Okay.
He tells him and says that the Therians are gone. Anybody can do now is just hope the sacrifice is remembered. And Corax says their loss will not go unremembered, nor will it go unavenged. So there's nothing left to find. Everybody's dead. So Corax says we need to go the shortest possible course out of István towards Terra. And then you go talk to the Emperor. And talk to my father. So they do that. And a little bit before they leave, Bran comes to fetch Marcus Valerius, right? That guy right there, the officer. And she asks him, the dreams, Marcus, have they stopped? And Marcus says, oh no, Bran, sorry, not. I said Brienne. Bran Nev. Who's the space marine. One of the brothers. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. So, yes, he asks him, the dreams, Marcus, have they stopped? And Marcus says, yeah, no, they're gone. I'm happy I'm rid of them. And Marcus believes that Corax sent him those dreams somehow, warning him about what was to come. Now, does that make sense? I don't know, right? But it's Primarch stuff.
Yeah. Now, so Marcus Valerius, he is. Well, I guess where is he during the István V stuff? That's
what he's saying here is that he showed up after they were dying to pick him up.
Okay, got it. He's a part of the squad that came to.
Yes, because and they're always like, how did you like? It's kind of what a perfect coincidence that you showed up. Is like, well, I felt like Corvus was sending me a message through dreams to come here to pick you guys up just in case something bad happened, and it did, and that's why he's like, so that's what Bran's asked me. You still have those dreams, those weird dreams, but they said no, they stopped, and then Bran says, don't mention the dreams when you see the Primarch. And there may be something unnatural about those dreams. It is not normal for a man to know what happens another light years distant. So Marcus says, yes, of course, that does sound weird. So I won't say it. But it doesn't really explain what the dreams are, right? It doesn't say like, oh, he has a dream of a raven being shot down. You know what I mean? Like we have with like all these different guys, especially with the guy in the Blood Angels who's like a giant red demon came out of the darkness.
Oh, yeah.
So he doesn't really say what he saw. He just says it was a message.
Okay.
So Corax is doing what he's doing. But we're going to jump across to Alpharius, who, during this time, he's still alive. He did not get killed by Dorn yet.
Right.
And he is aboard Horus' flagship, and he's going to have a meeting with Horus. And Horus is sitting on his throne with Abaddon and Erebus with him. And he tells Alpharius something simple. He says, well, Horus tells him, you use my name and authority without permission to mislead Angron and let the Raven Guard escape the massacre. Says, it would be unwise to take my name in vain, Alpharius. I'm God. You claim my authority and misled Angron and his world leaders, allowing Corax his legion to escape. Now, Alpharius doesn't deny it. He says, oh, you're so right. Oh, how foolish of me. I was so, what was I thinking? Then he says, but the Alpha Legion have infiltrated he says, goodness, I got it. Hold on. The Alpha Legion have infiltrated the Raven Guard. He's like, don't worry. I'm already working on it.
Yeah.
So
I just like to think one is like completely, like he just looks like Alpharius. Like, guy kind of looks familiar. It's like, well, that's fine.
You reminded me of somebody. I could be anybody.
I don't know. I just have that face.
Right. I'm Alpharius. I mean, no, that's not.
But I mean,
Alan Farius. So what they have done is the Alpha Legion has their apothecaries have basically stolen Raven Guard faces and from the dead, cut them off basically.
Right.
Kind of like what happens to Erebus when he makes Horus mad.
Yes.
And he puts the kind of grabs the faces to Alpha Legion people. So even if you, like we said, oh, you look familiar, you wouldn't. You would look like a Raven Guard with kind of a weird scar. But it's like, man, you're right, it's Istvaan V. Maybe he's have weird scars, you know, you might get your face blown up somehow. So Alpharius says, this is my actual plan. He says, Corax will run to Terra and ask the Emperor for help. And whatever the Emperor is going to give him is more than, like, this war has already, like, can give us. Like, he's going to give us something so valuable. Trust me. So Alpharius says, we will allow Corax to obtain whatever it is he seeks, and then take it from him, turning it to our purpose. And Horus basically says, I don't trust you. You know, which, of course, you don't, right? Who ever trusts Alpharius? Can't even trust himself. Salonius. And Horus says, I do not appreciate your scheming, brother, and I will be watching you closely. And Alpharius walks out shaking. He's like, oh, man. Whew, you got away with that one. Anyways, so back on his own ship, Alpharius goes to... So Alpharius he's supposed to have. And instead he meets with somebody else who is in a, kind of an employer of a way. It's a small floating globe of colored gas with a skeletal seven-figured hand suspended inside it. And it speaks through a translator in a flat mechanical voice. Alpharius calls it Athertir. There you go. It's an alien, right? It's obviously it's one of the Cabal.
Yeah.
Because remember way back when Alpha Legion are even on this whole heresy quest because of the Cabal.
Right.
So Athertir, I'm just gonna call him that because I don't.
Yeah.
It's too much. Knows what Alpharius has been up to, and he says, basically says, I sense that you are not being forthright. You're hiding something from me. Me, Alpharius, hiding something?
What?
No, man, we're not.
Meanwhile, that's not even Alpharius. It's actually
Omega.
Yeah, I'd say Alpharius is like in the corner. It's like, what? What are you talking about?
What? No. So Cabal's order is simple. They don't want the Emperor's gift stolen. They want it destroyed. Like, don't steal it. Destroy it. Like, because it's just too dangerous to be lit. You can't have it out there. Along with the Raven Guard themselves. And the alien says, the Raven will meet the Emperor, and he will be given a gift that can change the course of the coming war. This must be destroyed. Alpharius says, no, I want it. I don't want it. No, you don't tell me what to do. And he basically says, it seems such a waste to destroy this gift. I think it would be better in the hands of the Alpha Legion than turned to scrap. And he is already doing another plan while lying to this alien. That his brother Omegon, who we barely bring up, is on a planet called Kiavahr, which is a forge world that Corax's homeworld is. Remember, we talked about the Kiavahr, the moon of deliverance, prison planet. So Kiavahr is the planet, and the moon Deliverance is the moon.
Yeah, and that's where
Omegon is right now.
From. Yeah, and Corax is from Deliverance. That is where Omegon is right now.
He's next. He's on the planet. He's on the planet that Deliverance orbits.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, he's already making moves. So Alpharius says, already my twin brother Omegon is on Kiavahr. We have allies amongst the people there. Rest assured the Raven Guard will be destroyed, but not before Omegon claims this prize for the Alpha Legion. So now there's 3 separate plots going against Corax. So good luck with that, man. And he doesn't know about any of them.
Yeah. So one is, I guess, Alpharius wants to either destroy or steal whatever the Emperor is going to give Corax. Then Omegon is also
running a plan on his homeworld.
Yes, and then
Horus just wants Raven Guard destroyed as well.
Okay.
So Horus wants Raven Guard destroyed. The Cabal wants the Emperor's gift destroyed and the Raven Guard. And Alpharius wants to steal the Raven Guard gift. Whenever the Emperor gives them. Yeah. So yes, there is a lot going on here.
Everybody's out for them.
Exactly. For some reason, they didn't even do anything. Yeah. Do this like the Ultramarines. All you gotta do is a Shadow Crusade. I mean, that was pretty bad, to be fair. But like, 2 days from the safety of a warp jump, the trader line kind of tightens around the Avenger to within a few 100,000 kilometers. And Corax said we need to use the black light, which is basically shut down everything that is in the engines or shields and run dark. Like we talked before, just act like space debris. And Corax says, too close to alter course. We will have to make a dash to the translation point. Shut down all auxiliary systems. I don't know. Today, my words are beating me up. Impose black light protocols. Divert power savings to the engines. So no nothing. All they have is a shield. No, the weapons aren't even on either. So they bumps into them. By the time they turn the weapons on, they're dead. Okay. So, obviously, if they do get found, it doesn't matter anyways. They're dead anyways. Right. So 1,500 legionaries pack into a ship. I'm telling you, these words are killing me. Ship built for a fraction of that, powered down to basically statues in the dark. and they go look at the windows, basically see these, shells exploding in the space, and all these different battles going on, just hoping that they can just drift along to a point where they can finally jump out of space.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 2 near misses, and he's trying to do the math in his head of like, okay, run the geometry and the physics and the calculations of like, okay, if they're drifting this way at 100 miles an hour, then you're doing the whole train. If a train is going here at 200 miles an hour, how long does it take to get from here and here? And it's 7 o'clock, right? He's doing that math.
Right.
He's doing math problems in his head, word problems.
Yeah. Okay.
And Afrina gets so afraid, she just straight up calls him Corax. She doesn't even say his title of like Lord or whatever, because she's like, oh man, they're like right next to us. Like they basically are like, it's like inches, maybe 100 feet away from at one point. And they're just like, just stay still.
If I stand really still,
if you stay really still, won't see us. And they don't.
And this isn't, this is not like their flagship that's like massive, right?
One of the bigger ships, but not really. I mean, this is it's like a battleship, basically. Not a battleship, because it was pretty big, but like, no, it's not his flagship. That got destroyed. It's more of like a troop transport, honestly.
Okay.
So like a C-130. Obviously, those are pretty big, but like, it's not that much big compared to like
cities that are
right. Like what's it called, the Avengers ship? What's it called?
The helicarrier.
The helicarrier. Yeah, it's not like that, right?
Yeah,
where it's like that's literally made to fight things.
Okay, I was like, there's no way they're on like this massive flagship with a city on top, and there's like, if I stand really still, like you're massive.
No, they're not. They're in. I mean, like it says, there is 1,500 packed into a ship built for a fraction of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not. This thing is not. It's for transporting. It's not for fighting.
Okay.
So among one of those 1,500 people is Alpharius' infiltrator wearing the Raven Guard's face, and he kind of comes awake, and his face starts to hurt a little bit because you can feel the scar tissue that is kind of still setting in.
Mm-hmm.
And he also kind of absorbs from the man's memory too. You know how Space Marines are. You just get the memories of dead people. It's a whole thing. And that person that's face he's wearing was a veteran of the old Lycaeus uprising. So this is it was an old veteran that died here. They took his face. And he's actually terrified, but not of being caught, because he's like, I won't get caught. He's afraid that he's going to die in space, never doing his plan. And he says it would be such a pointless way to die. Like, if I don't even, like, Alpharius would be so disappointed in me if I do the whole thing, I put the face on, I get in here, and then just get blown up into space and I die. So he's like, oh, I hope we make it. So if anything actually helps the situation, because one, he has the memories of the guy he's impersonating, so perfect, right? And two, he's also afraid of what's going to happen. So the mask won't slip.
Right.
Literally. It's stitched on.
He just immediately starts like peeling off. Like,
sure. It was me.
It was me.
So Marcus Valerius doesn't like this, right? Because he's used to fighting a battle he can see, and he's kind of stuck in the dark, and the hull is just shuddering around him, right? All these like close misses of these bombs going off is rattling the ship from these shockwaves. Which in space, are there shockwaves? I guess there's no air, so no.
I don't know. I don't really know how a space explosion would work.
I guess plasma. I don't know. Yeah, weird. Anyways, but it's there's a lot of shaking going on, and he starts having his dreams again. But the only thing he has in his dream now is a void dragging him down so far into this darkness, and he can't. For him, he has like that. I have no idea what that means. So when he's convinced he's about to die, he's like, "We're going to die here. That's it. We're not going to make it out." And Corax just sitting there like, "Wait for it, wait for it," and then all of a sudden, a wash of 4 trader ships, own drive plumes. Basically, they go to do this big jet burst. And he says, "We will not be fleeing without a last remark to our enemies. I have something more dramatic in mind." So there's a wordbearer's cruiser called Valediction. An Apostle Danask has spent his days on a punishment patrol, firing blind into empty space. But then his scanners catch the Avengers at nearly point-blank range. Like, he looked to his left, he's like, whoa, when did I get there? And Corax opens his warp jump close enough that it catches the Valediction in the wake of it. And the Valediction gets dragged into the immaterial with no Geller field on. So basically, I do this warp jump, and I open up the sphere, and I teleported you with me, but I had my shield up. You didn't. We know how that goes.
Yeah.
So weeping from eyes, skin stretching and thinning, Legionary catching fire from the inside, and Danask is, he's like, what kind of man would risk killing an entire ship's crew to pull off this translation? He never knows, because something with horns and red skin tears itself out through his chest. So, yeah. That's what happens when you have a Geller field on. It's whatever. You know what I mean? It's anything bad can happen will happen.
Yeah.
So Corax is like, I just had to get that, get them a little bit. So they jump out and they make it out. and they're in the warp right now, kind of just going through the loading screen. And he is not sure what to say to less than 3,000, but he says, I still have to make a speech. So he says, we live Istvaan in defeat. It's an unpleasant feeling, but I want you to remember it. Never forget what it feels like to fail. Those who we once called brothers are now our enemies. They betrayed us, and worse still, they betrayed the Emperor. They are dead to us, and we will not give them the dignity of our sorrow. Hate them as you have never hated an enemy before. So it's getting so intense and yelling that he starts like opening up these like half-healed wounds. And he says, swear that we will never fail again. And they're all, like, Corvus. And the traitor's like, such defiance was noble, pointless but noble. He's like, that's what you think. Little does they know. I'm a secret guy the whole time. What'd you say? Nothing. I'm Alpharius. What? Huh? So about weeks into this transit, because it takes time, right? These warp jumps, there's not just like teleporting. You got to go through your loading screen.
Yeah.
So Tech Marine, Stradon, Benalt, bolts together salvage armor from a half dozen dead legions and repaints it black. Basically, he's like, you guys, we need armor, right? We don't got much of that left. And the Infiltrator is doing is kind of the same similar work, right? He's going to learn the mannerisms, the turns of phrase, small habits, basically anything that can make the disguise work even better. You go to France, you guys talk like a Frenchman, you got to eat like a Frenchman, you got to move like a Frenchman. So that's what he's doing. So, but it almost fails. At one point, Sergeant Dorn pairs him against a legionary named Lucar. And the Infiltrator wins with a reverse grip strike aimed at the gap between the thigh armor and the groin guard. And a move that's what Raven Guard do. And everybody's like, oh, I've never seen that before. So Lucar concedes. He says, where'd you learn that? And he says, well, it's something a word bearer did when he killed a salamander. And they, oh, yeah, hey, that makes sense. That's where you saw it. And Dorn says, this is what we must do. We need to learn from our enemies, adapt to the way they will fight. So he makes it even worse by saying, hey, that stuff that you did that's weird, keep doing weird stuff. So
hey, can you teach me that move real quick? What?
Whoa, that was really weird. Where'd you learn that? Just TV.
You saw it somewhere.
We should all do that move now.
Yes.
So the cover holds, but man, he starts sweating. He's like, cool. I need to think about that more. And he taught a room full of Raven Guard, basically, killing technique that could be used against his own people, though. So the problem with infiltration like this is that, it's like double agents, right? I'm teaching you guys how to kill my guys that I'm still loyal to. But then the problem with Raven Guard, or now Alpha Legion, is that, and we talked about this before, they almost become faithful now in the thing they're trying to infiltrate because it's like a weird friendship, camaraderie, brotherhood thing.
Right.
So he's getting a little cross wires here. So they're in their rations, right, which they have to do every now and then. Space Marines do have to eat, rarely. And Corax is basically laying out what we need to do. He says, we need to go to Terra. He says, we before we go to Terra, they're asking, should we go to Deliverance first to get more Raven Guard? And he says, no, I need to speak with the Emperor in person because I don't know if anybody knows if what just happened at Istvaan V, remember? Because this Istvaan V, some people knew about it, but this was not like that level of traitorness, right? Istvaan III was kind of a secret. Istvaan V was less of a secret, but the information still has to travel. Right. So he's like, I need to bring this information to the Emperor, let him know. Horus and world leaders and all these different people, Alpha Legion and word bearers and Night Lord and all them, right? Everybody who's on this side. So they're like, we can't go to Deliverance yet. We're wasting time if we do that. So he has a thought too, that the Warp, the Navigators, Astartes, and the Emperor himself all draw on the same well. So the storms blinding the Legion's route to Terra might be blinding the Emperor's far side too. So these warp storms and all these different things that are happening might be hard for the Emperor to even kind of get information in and out or out. So he says, if we have a race against time here, if we get fast, we can get, for them is like, if they act fast enough, they can destroy the Emperor before the rest of Imperium can even mobilize, because the Long War would favor the Loyalists by just numbers. They're way more Loyalists than traitors, but if the traitors was fast enough, then they can wipe out everything. That was supposed to happen. But Eisenstein, when they got over that ship, it opened up the whole thing, right?
Right.
Because the Emperor would have never known. Well, he would have figured out eventually, but they would have had to jump on him if Eisenstein didn't get away.
Right.
So Agapito says, well, I have some hope that we can make it happen. And Corax says, we have no room for hope. We plan and we act. Hope is for dreamers and poets. We have our will in our weapons, and we shall dictate our own fate. So we're going back again. Back to when he's a child. Going up on Lycaeus, his teacher is now a guy named Lycaeus, something, is an old political prisoner who is basically carving out these animals out of slag with a little chisel, and just kind of while talking to Corax, or 19, I guess he's at the time. And he basically tells Corvus, like, you're making all these plans, but you're missing one instrument. It's people. It's like, sure, you can look at the molecular structure of the cell walls, you can taste the air, and you can see all these things, but you're not understanding how people work. And all of a sudden, a flash inspection catches him mid-lesson, and Corvus drops into the hidden crawl space. And while they try to go in, he kills them easily. These 6 guards, no problem. Well, he said, I can kill him, no problem. But Lycaeus told him, it says, not yet, lad, not until you know what's worth fighting for. Got to be right when you kill a man. Got to mean something. Because, I mean, he broke the guy's wrist as like a toddler, right?
Yeah.
He's like, 6 guards, I'm like 10 years old now, I can destroy them. And he says, no, wait. So a wing corporal finds a hiding spot and shines a light directly onto Corvus twice and sees nothing. Because that's how good he is at sneaking around. And he walks away, and Corvus, I says, I don't know how he missed me. And Rakai says, I don't either. He says, maybe it's just one of the things, the other thing you can do. Maybe you can like turn invisible or something. And Corvus says, interesting.
Yeah. That reminds me, I don't know if you've seen like the clips of, I think it's like the PS4 Spider-Man game where they're like under a desk and then they go into photo mode and they look and it's like so obvious he's right there. And it's like,
oh yeah, like it's like when you're playing the games, you can like, oh, if you peek around corners, enemy can't see, but you can see them. It's just like half your body sticking out.
yeah, you're just like,
and they're like walking towards you and they're like, yeah, they don't see me.
Or like one of the games where you like crouch, but you don't fully crouch over the box. Right. And so like half your head is peeking. I'm like, come on.
Oh, I don't see anything.
That's him.
Yeah, must be my imagination.
Yeah, must have been the wind.
Yeah, weird. So now going back to the present, the Avenger finally translates into the solar system. And the whole system is in motion. Warships and hollows converging from every direction. And so they basically say, oh, they must know now because they're getting ready to fortify, it looks like.
Yeah. Do we know like how much sooner, I guess, the Eisenstein got there before?
98 days.
Oh, yeah, because they were stuck there. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I don't know, but I was like, I guess 98 days. Yeah. Because it literally was right when it happened that they left. So they've had about
like 3 months.
3 months, a little over 3 months. Yeah. So essentially with Dorn doing all this stuff, yeah, definitely have a good amount of time. I mean, that 100 days, if traders had that, who knows?
Yeah.
Especially the Alpha Legion doing what they're about to do with Praetorian of Dorn, who knows?
Yeah, woke up the random people they stored there like 20 years.
20 years, yeah. It's a weird one. But so this captain pulls up in an Imperial Fist strike cruiser called the Wrathful Vanguard, and he hails them. He says, you are not authorized to proceed. Power down your shields and prepare to receive a boarding party. Failure to comply will be treated as an act of aggression and you will be destroyed. And Corax steps in because Brandon's arguing with him. He's like, well, Raven Guard, come on now. And Corax says, it's me, Corvus, Corax, Primarch, come on now. What are we talking about? And Norez says, we have received word that you were all dead. The Raven Guard, Salvators, and Iron Hands. We, that is Legion Command, were told that there have been no survivors from Istvaan. So Corax gets his meaning here. He says, you think we're something else. He's basically prove that you're not traitors.
Yeah.
And Corvus says, okay, fine. Full search of the ship. Every hold, every bay, every barracks, everything. Anything you need to look at, you can look at. Because we have nothing to hide. Obviously, if they wanted to, they definitely could.
Yeah.
So it takes 10 inspection teams, a couple of days, and every corner of the Avengers opened up. Every compartment, every scan, anything they need to do. And obviously, if they wanted to, they could have hid something, right? Because it's like Alpha Legion. We checked everything. They wouldn't know they were there. It's like, of course you didn't, because they didn't want you to know they were there. It's the writer saying that, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, they have to comply, because if they say, like, don't look in there, why not?
Box. Huh?
Don't leave that alone. It's like some secret, especially when like we talk about warp stuff. Oh, forget it. One little knife could end the world. You know, that's basically what happened with Horus. One little knife, everything got flipped around. So they open it up, and Corax doesn't know it, but somewhere among his 2,500 legionaries is an Alpha Legion guy. So they're all ready, standing in full muster, ready to go. And Norris reaches the Infiltrator, looks at him for a moment, and he keeps walking. And the Alpha Legion goes, that was close. They go, huh? So, and it's the closest call of the entire inspection, but nobody even knows it. Because he stops him for just like a little second, looks at him, and keeps walking.
Yeah. It would be interesting, though, like what would happen if they found him out and then they're like, oh, if he's a traitor, all traitors. And just
prison.
Yeah.
Probably put him in prison. Or, I mean, that's the problem. They might, at this point, they might kill him.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
might blow up the ship and say, oh, that's it, you know?
Yeah.
Which would be perfect for Alpharius. Say, oh. Well, the problem would be, too, is that, like, well, then he didn't get the Emperor's gift. And that's the issue, right? It's because he wants to steal whatever the Emperor's trying to give Corax. So then, I guess Alpharius would fail. I guess the Cabal would be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Horus should be the most happy. The Cabal would be half happy because the Emperor's gift isn't destroyed. And then, but they're destroyed. So,
Yeah, it was never given, but also it wasn't destroyed. So it's like,
still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Whatever this gift is.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, looks good to us. We'll ferry you in to Terra. So Corax is talking to Norris and he says, like, what's going on? Which I was building, like, get me up speed here. He says there's open insurrection on Mars. Remember that whole thing that happened there? Yeah. So they're just like, we blockaded it, so they can't get anything out. And so we're kind of just keeping them off. Because it's like, what about Mars? Like the whole Alpha Legion thing, Patrolling of Dorn, it's like, why did they like do anything with Mars? It's just like, it's like so wrapped up in like a bubble of defense and like stuff. It's like, don't worry about Mars right now.
Yeah. That Mars is like out of commission.
Yeah, they got like a weird disease going on. And they're also making weapons for the Horus, but somehow. So
yeah.
But yes. So and he also tells him too, hey, Ferris Manus is dead. I saw him die. But now Volk and I have no idea. We assume he's also dead, but we never saw a body. And obviously we know he got abducted.
Yeah.
So and he says, but I need to talk to the Emperor. And Nora says, well, he is fully engaged in his own endeavors against traitors. And Nora says, Lord Dorn has been placed in charge of sole defense and fortification of the Imperial Palace. Malcador appears to be acting as regent on Terra with the authority of the Emperor alongside the Primarch. And Corax is like, I don't like that. I need to talk to the Emperor. It says, if the Emperor is embroiled in some unseen effort, but we must trust that is the surest road to victory. Did you think he would come out of the Imperial Palace, sword in hand, and cast down these traitors with a single blow? The Emperor created us to be his warriors, and we will bring him victory, is what Corax says, kind of in defense of the Emperor. So, also, White Scars are supposedly on their way from Chondax. Dark Angels, they're still dealing with something.
Yeah.
Space Wolves are fighting Thousand Suns on Prospero, and Ultramarines are way over in Ultramar still. So now, right now, in this system, it's just Raven Guard Imperial Fists. So, nobody's here yet. So about 3 days later of jurisdictions and communications and just back and forth, Corax gets nowhere near what he's trying to do. He's like, just let me land on the Earth already. And they're like, he just, like, it's just we got a shipment coming in, so you can't really fill that spot. He's like, do you know who I am? So basically, he goes to secret communications, only for Primarch the Emperor. Half an hour later, Dorn answers personally. He says, is that you, Corax? It's about time you contacted me, brother. And Corax says, if you do not find me in orbital station in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to use my weapon batteries to make a space for myself. So Dorn's like, all right. Unfortunately, I can't meet you, though. I can take care of something, but you're open. It's just so funny that you have a Primarch, one of the sons of the Emperor, and you're like, yes, all right, man. Like, we're kind of backed up down here. Like, are you? What? I will kill you.
Yeah.
So he says, I'll be back within the palace within a day, though. So just take care of what you need to. I'll send you a delegation. And it's the first time in a while that Corvus has a real, warm, friendly conversation with a brother. Because recently it's been a lot of death and dying the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And even longer than that, really, because I don't really know what he's been doing before this. I mean, I know you get the whole thing with Horus and some, but
yeah. But at least for the past 3 months, it's all been
terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. So Dorn said, it's not for our kind to meet in peace, brother. You should know that. Basically what tells him was like, don't get used to it. So when he was aboard the Honor Guard, with the Honor Guard, Bran notices something new on every legionary shoulder. Is a small gray skull. Two crossbones under it. That's not, I don't think we want that symbology. And he kind of asks him, what's this? What's this about? And Sergeant Nestle says, it's fun, veteran captain. There was no official campaign badge or arms issued, captain, so he thought it would be good to remember the fallen. So basically, they all have his little skulls now on their armor. So you probably see the newer armors. I don't think I have it in these pictures here, but a lot of the Raven Guard have a little skull. Well, not a lot of them, but at least these ones have a little skull sometimes on the armor.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, to be fair, a lot of Imperial stuff has skulls on it, so
I feel like there's a lot of skulls already.
It's like, okay, you're just kind of adding more. For surviving, we put a spike on your armor. Oh, wow. A spike.
I'll definitely be able to tell.
Yeah. Oh, this one actually is a different spike than this one.
Yeah.
So, but Bran wasn't at the drop site massacre himself. He was in charge of his garrison commander. And Agapito says, we survived, brother? I don't remember you at the drop site. And he doesn't mean it in a bad way. He doesn't mean oh, what do you mean we? I don't know. You speaking French? I don't remember you being there. And he said, that's not what I meant. I meant you never have to deal with this now. The weight of being there and seeing this happen. You don't have the extreme PTSD that we all have now. And Bran says, well, you should tell me about it sometime. I'd love to know about it. And Agapito says, some stories are best left untold. You do not want to know what I did at the drop site. So, and that's new, right? Because they love telling each other war stories. But the fact is, like, you don't want to know, man.
Yeah.
What is that Twitter meme where it's just like, what happened? Oh, you don't want to know. It's like, can you just tell me? Can we not do that dumb? But yeah. So the fact that, even his brother's like, hey, man, listen. He's like, I'll figure it out one day. So then back to the Infiltrator. He is getting a window seat for the drop site, right? He's looking at Terra, watching the Phalanx hang in orbit, right? The Imperial Fist giant ship, Golden Custodes cruisers, floating cities, Imperial Fist moving around. Everything is all set up. And the ship touches down at the Lions Gate, not the film studio, but one of the giant gates that they have. And he feels it, right? Even though he's, obviously here to infiltrate, he's still a space marine at the end of the day. And it says he was on Terra, the capital of the Empire, home to the Emperor. Like, it's almost like a return home in a way. You know what I mean? Like, for them, it's like such an awe-inspiring thing to be here. This is where the Emperor lives. It's like holy in a way. It's irreverent. There we go. That's the word, reverent.
Right.
So 30 gold custodians meet with Corax on the ground. He kills them all, actually. It's crazy. I'm still mad. And
We'll not get past this.
I will not get past this. I don't care. So, yes, 30 custodians meet them with another man, is Malcador. He's sending with his little staff. And Corax says, I hope this is an ornamental escort. Like, I'm not going to do anything. Obviously, 30 custodians and Malcador, I wouldn't be able to do anything anyways. And Malcador says, it's fine. It's just like a thing, It's just security. Just got to make sure. And Corax says, it seems the Primarch's word is no longer his bond. Malcador, only for some, Corax. A number of your brothers remain true to their oaths of allegiance. Your loyalty is greatly appreciated. And the Sigilite says something that Corax wasn't really expecting. This is you aren't the only one who's made it back from the traitor side of this war. Says there are not goodness. Sometimes the way Malcador talks is hard to read. There are not only those like yourself who escaped the ambush, but also brave warriors who have recently arrived within the traitor's ranks. And they don't say who, but they say there are other people here. And now they're kind of walking through kind of what Dorn's building, and is basically entire mountains carved into bastions, cargo convoys kilometers long, hundreds of thousands of laborers on the slopes. Like, Corax has seen worlds rebuilt after his own legion torn down. Like, he has destroyed cities. None of them ever compared to anything like this. And Corax says, my brother does not take half measures. It seems like this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's building Disney World twice. So he says, I need to talk with the Emperor, Corax. And Malcador says, it is with regret that I must warn you that is highly unlikely. His current project requires all of his attention. I have seen him only a handful of times since we learned the events of Istvaan. Dorn has not spoken to him at all. So you kind of get an idea here that Malcador is running everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is during the War of the Webway.
Yeah.
So that's why he can't come out. So Corax says, well, does he even know I'm here? And Malcador says, no, I've been unable to contact him since you first entered the Sol system. And Corax says, sure, we can't make something happen here. Malcador says that is not a thing I can easily quantify. Forgive my vagueness, but I am not at liberty to discuss the Emperor's plans, nor am I in a position to fully comprehend them. So I don't know where he is, what he's doing, or if he's ever going to talk to me. Awesome. This is incredibly helpful. So it's starting to feel like he might not get the chance, right? They might, all right, you're all ready. All right, go head back out again.
Mm-hmm.
So they take an elevator about 46 floors down, which I'm going to guess 460 feet, maybe more, probably 46,000 feet. Who knows? Everything in Imperial is massive. So they are put into a windowless barracks that were just recently built. There's no way in or out except the doors at either end. And there's a custodian command that keeps it curt, right? He says, nobody moves past either end of the hall and stepping beyond to earn summary execution. And Agapito says, nice to be trusted. And the custodian doesn't find it funny. He says, trust is a depleted resource, Commander. There will be no exceptions. I've been given personal authority over your stay here. I am Arcturus Vindix Centurio. All communication will be directed through me. So the Infiltrator is down here too. And he's kind of making the layout in his mind. Okay, we're down 46 floors. There's doors here and here. He's doing the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't try to sneak around. He knows better than that. Custodian would just cut him down instantly. One of them would. All right, not five. All right, I'll stop being a baby. No, I won't. Anyways, so
he takes a spear.
He takes a spear and then overwrites it. But no, I like Argotol. It's just that whole sequence is a little funny.
Yeah. Isn't there what was the other one? It was that, and then, or am I thinking of the same thing? I feel like there's another instance where we talked about, they killed 5 custodians.
Yeah, it was Argotol and I think 6 other Galvorback, the Unburdened. Go back to Istvaan V, and a custodian kills Sereni because she is witnessing to things or doing things she's not supposed to do. And Argothal attacks that custodian, kills him, tears his head off because he's in demon form. You're like, sure, whatever, right? Whatever. And then the other 4 that are there, the other custodians that are there, start fighting these other 6 Galvor back, and they kill like 3 of them, and then they kill the rest of the custodians. And it's just like, what are you talking about? These are 5 of the strongest guys ever, and you're like, yeah, no, some demons killed them. It's like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But this also, the problem is, and you know, I'll address it. This is old lore, right? Custodians now are like these super powered freaks. Back then, there was like stronger Space Marines. So it's like, okay, sure. But like, if that happened now, it just wouldn't go down like that.
Right.
It would go down like that. Wrong. It's wrong. So yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This custodian is watching them. So to be fair, this custodian watching them is like, in this context, like, you guys really think I'm going to kill you? It's like, yeah, there's like 20 Space Marines down here plus a Primarch. I don't think you will. You know, you might take one of them, but anyway, so the honor guard is sleeping down there, and Corax is giving his own special suite, a Primarch scaled suite, beside underground sea, chandeliers, real candles, and it's more comfort than he's really ever had his entire life. He doesn't sleep. Instead, he calls for a writing tablet and starts writing out everything he remembers of Istvaan. Basically, a notes for Malcador and Dorn. Basically, this is exactly how it went down, right? He has a perfect memory of it. So, starts his regular military record, fleet dispositions, drop patterns, the moment the trap became real. But then it starts running away. He talks about Iron Warriors, Word Bearers, killing them. And then he talks about the hatred he has for Lorgar and the tangle of Curze stopping him from killing Lorgar. Because actually, at this point, I didn't really cover Istvaan V. Corax almost kills Lorgar, basically slashes him across the neck and almost takes his head off. But Curze stops them somehow. And he sits there for a moment, reading over his whole writing here. And he's like, maybe I should delete it. And he's like, you know what? No, I don't think I will, actually. So by the time these servants arrive with breakfast, the report is finished, sealed, and sent to Malcador. Writing it didn't give him any peace, though. He's still pretty angry. And there's still no answer to the question that really matters, is what turned his brothers against the Emperor in the first place? Because remember, we know what made Horus go crazy. And we even talked about this last episode, Runestorm. They went there because even Sanguinius, Gilliman, and the Line were like, what happened here that made Horus go crazy? And they couldn't even find it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Sanguinius found out that, like, this place can change fates, but they still don't know about the Anathame, his ayahuasca trip, you know, all that different stuff. So that's kind of the question that a lot of them have, especially Corax, is like, why are they being so mean? I didn't even do anything.
Yeah. I guess nobody, at this point in time, well, in general, I guess nobody really knows what happened except for, like, Sons of Horus and Word Bearers, right? That's
But
really
even
it.
Sons of Horus, I mean, they know that he got stabbed, but they don't even know the ritual, right?
Right.
Like, that whole ritual, only Erebus and Horus knows. I mean, Lorgar obviously does too, because he has, like, a mind of that. But like, even Mortarion doesn't know. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. That's like a good idea. Angron just doesn't like the Emperor. He doesn't like either of them, but he likes the Emperor less.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's a very in the dark thing here. So he is summoned to meet Dorn, and Corax is led into a hall he expects to be full of all types of honors and banners. Instead, it's cabinet after cabinet of humanity's actual firsts. A navigational circuit from the first warp-capable starship, an ancient wheeled rover. Oh my goodness, it's Discovery? No, not Discovery. The Mars rover. I can't
remember the name. I just think about it as the Mars rover.
Yeah, but the Mars rover's here. The earliest gene therapy formulas. In the center of it all, a shattered clay bowl, which is the oldest piece of pottery ever made by human hands. And Corax says, what is this place? What manner of victories are celebrated? And Malcador says, the most important kind. One of the first pieces of pottery ever made by a human hand. Hundreds of thousands of years old. Corax says, child can make that bowl. That's not impressive. And Malcador says, hold on. Without this bowl, without the mind that devised it and the hands that shaped it, the rest of the hall would be empty. We've come a long, long way since our first ancestors noticed a certain type of mud hardening in the sun and decided to make something. Without a first step, no journey's ever begun. And Corax says, fair point.
I guess.
Yeah, whatever. I could like do cool stuff too, though. I can turn invisible. So, and it's kind of like that with the Emperor Malcador, is that at the end of the day, I mean, Emperor barely, but they're humans, right? And they love anthropology. They're like, it is humanity's final goal. Our final evolution is to take over the stars, manifest destiny, right? Obviously, it didn't go the way it wanted to, and the Emperor's kind of full of himself, but that was the whole plan. So it's very, like, I think even he has like a bunch of paintings. So like, I think it's a Mona Lisa too in his collection. Like, it's just stuff like that where you're like, oh, yeah, I guess it is the same planet, you know? But it's just 40,000 years in the future, or 30,000 at this point. But, you know, I don't know. These little things I think are cool.
Yeah.
So Dorn arrives, And he says, finally, we can meet in person. And he says, I've already assigned your Raven Guard to a permanent garrison. He says, like, how many more warriors are coming from Deliverance to reinforce Terra's defense? And Corax says, you think I'm bringing Raven Guard here? And Dorn says, where else would they go? By the sounds of it, there's barely enough for you to make Deliverance look inhabited. We need every warrior we can to defend Terra. And Corax says, no, that's not what I'm doing here. He says, we fight from shadows, not siege walls. And he says, I want the freedom to hit Horus's forces rather than sit and wait for a siege. He says, you know how we fight, brother. We were never expert at manning a tower or a trench line. If the Raven Guard are to play their part, we need freedom to operate without our backs to a wall. And Dorn says, impossible. Like it or not, I must insist that your legion be stationed here to bolster the defense of the Emperor. Horus will be coming here. Make no mistake about that. Our first duty, our only duty, is the protection of Terra. And Corax starting to get a little annoyed here. He's like, okay, cool. I'm not doing that, though. That's not what I do. He says, I swore my oath to the Emperor, not to you, nor to you, Malcador, before you start claiming my authority as regent. Don't you say nothing, Malcador. I see you. I didn't even say anything. Why is he so mad? He says, look, my point is, like, sitting behind the wall surrenders initiative entirely. Like, you're just waiting for them to come to you when you could break them apart piece by piece before they collect. He says, we need to strike back fast. Till any momentum he has gained from the massacre Istvaan and stop this rebellion in its infancy. And Dorn says, every warrior will count. We need you on Terra. We cannot stop Horus coming here, accept that as fact, and bring your legion to the defense. And Corax says, not unless the Emperor himself commands it. And Malcador says, a personal vendetta. And Corax says, an act of defiance. There are those that Horus will try to recruit. He can virtually guarantee them victory at the moment, with no evidence to counter his claims. I will send a message across the Imperium that the Emperor's legions have not abandoned them. Because that's Corax's whole thing. Do not leave people in the dark. So Corax says, who is still loyal? Who can we talk to? And he says, Thousand Sons, Magnus. And Dorn says, the wolves of Fenris were overzealous. They've destroyed Prospera and wiped out the Thousand Sons. And Malcador corrects him and says, if that were true, our wars would be lessened. Only this morning I have reports from Prospero that Magnus and some of his legions have escaped the attack. I fear the numbers of our enemies will be swelled by Russ's headstrong actions rather than reduced. And because Magnus was really never friends with Horus. But that overreach basically makes Magnus be like, you know, Horus, I am on your side.
Yeah.
So, and Malcador says, though there may no great kinship between Magnus and Horus, it seems we have given them a common foe. Same thing with Angron. I don't like you either, Horus, but Emperor, I don't like it even more. Because of the same thing that, remember we talked about that planet when the space was, hey, stop putting the butcher's nails in your guys. No. Okay, I'm going to kill you then. So it's like, you know, or Lorgar, word bearers. Hey, stop worshiping gods. No. Hey, Gilliman and Sister Sons of don't burn down their city. No. So it's like, most of these things could have been avoided if the Emperor just didn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously, Mortarian's a big baby, right? And we know that. Like, Mortarian's literally dying on the ground, and he showed up to save his life and killed, his dad was poisoning him. And he says, no, I was supposed to kill him. It's like, well, you weren't going to, you know? Like, even Angron, if the Emperor just showed up and gave Angron, saved his people, and, like, protected him, Angron would never be, you know what I mean? There's little things like that. It's like, you know, maybe bad dad. Might be. You know, what? What? No, can't be.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, I think you said it earlier with the Raven Guard. He's like, oh, we shouldn't, you know, keep people in the dark. It's like, that's like all the Emperor does.
It is all he knows how to do. Gaslighting, gatekeeping, girl boss, you know? Can I know what you're like studying? No. Okay.
Hey, where'd you get
wipe your mind of it? You know? So it's like, it's pretty bad. I mean, and he also, like, even Malcolm and custodians have been like, hey, I don't think that's a good idea. And he's like, well, that's too bad. I'm going to do it anyways. Like, oh, okay, cool. I'm happy I'm here. Cool.
Yeah.
So Corax shows a leave. He's like, enough of this. And Dorn says, where are you going? He says, to see the Emperor. And Malcador starts chasing after him. He says, no, don't trust me. You don't want to go in there. And Chorus basically goes around the corner. All of a sudden, sees a contingent of custodians waiting beyond the doors. And he says, take me to the Emperor right now. He says, I am the Primarch of the Raven Guard, son of the Emperor. It is my right. Take me to the Emperor now, or I'll find him myself. He says, enough of these games. And Dorn's hand goes to his chainsaw. He's like, are you about to go crazy here? Because I'll put you down, just like I did Alpharius in the future. So a voice cuts through the hall, and it comes from Malcador's mouth, but it is not Malcador's voice. It is deep and resonant, not like Sigilite's usual measured whisper. Sigilite kind of whispers. Malcador, he's just whispering because he's very old, and I'm going to speak like this all the time. So all of a sudden, a giant voice says, enough! I will brook no dispute in my palace. And Dorn is on one knee. Of course. And Malcador's body is standing there. His eyes have gone gold, and his face is lit with this bright light. And Dorn says, my Emperor, I'm sorry for causing conflict. I'm so sorry. It was his fault. And the Emperor says, do you not share your brother's shame? And Corax drops down as well. And his hand presses down on Malcador's hand, or the Emperor using Malcador presses on Corax's hand and says, "Heed my wisdom." And light floods everything, and Corax stops being anywhere at all. He basically gets teleported through this thing. And where Corax sees is a hall full of machinery, hundreds of red cowl tech priests tending banks and dials of pipework at the center of it. The die is built to the scale of a titan, sheathed in gold and wired into everything around it. Seated in the chair, rising from his heart, is the Emperor, armored in gold, eyes shut, and lightning storm playing across his skin, and a single bead of sweat runs down his face. So, I mean, if he's sweating,
Yeah.
right, we know what that is, right? It's the golden throne.
Yeah.
And he's really showing him, this is what I'm doing right now. So this is why I can't be here. So relax, all right? I'm literally dying. He says, like, and nobody else can know what I'm doing down here. This is my secret with my guys. And the Mechanicus, I guess, they can know about it. It is kind of funny. Like, yeah, also Mechanicus is down here helping out. It's like, you trust them?
It's like
Mars didn't just, okay.
Yeah, this is like the super secret project. Like, yeah, you're fine. You can come in.
But I guess they almost worship him more than anything else. So it's like, for them, it's like, of course.
Yeah.
I'll never tell. So, and Corax says, "Father, my Emperor, is Corvus. If you can hear me, please heed my words. My legion is all but dead, and our armies grow stronger with each passing day." And he gets no answer. He says, "Listen, please." And he's like pushing himself so hard that like those Istvaan wounds reopen again. He says, "Father, hear me. The Raven Guard will fight to the last to protect the Imperial truth. We are not so strong as we once were, but we will lay down each life left to us in your defense." And then basically collapses. Not Malcador, the Corvus does. Basically 300 days of never sleeping. All of a sudden, it all hits him at once. Defeated.
Yeah.
And he gets one word to him. It says, "Son." And the Emperor's armor dissolves into silver robes as he steps down to Corax, healing him with a touch. He says, "Power would heal." And says, "Stand, Corax." And Corax finds his father wearing an ordinary human face. The face you usually see the Emperor with, the black hair, the tan face, all that. And Corax says, is this your true face?" And the Emperor says, "I have no such thing. I have worn a million faces over the millennia according to need or whim." And this kind of goes in the theory of that the Emperor was Alexander the Great. One, because he's gay. And two, because the Emperor's flagship is named Bucephalus. And the Alexander the Great's horse was also named Bucephalus. So, and it's also him saying, "I wear many faces." So it's like he could have been Caesar, he could have been Alexander the Great, could have been Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
That's how we get the idea for Jagatai, This horse stuff is awesome. So now it's not obviously, he doesn't specifically say, "I was Alexander the Great." He's ancient hero, but it's like, he could be anybody. He could be even you.
Yeah.
He could be listening right now. And Corax recognizes the face. He says, "I remember this one. It was how you appeared to me when I was born within my pod." So when the Primarchs were babies in their pods, they can remember that because that's how their brains work. So there's never a time of unremembering for a Primarch unless they get their memories wiped by the Emperor, like, what's his name was? Vulcan. When he says, "Make this talisman, but forget about it."
Yeah. Okay.
So Corax says, "I have, this is what I come to ask you, permission to throw the Raven Guard at the traitors and mark their end in battle while wasting time defending this wall." The Emperor says, "You wish to sacrifice your legion in what cause?" He says, "I must atone for my failure at Istvaan, for it will tear me apart as surely as my wounds did if allowed to fester in my heart." The Emperor says, "Yet there is no need for sacrifice. I am reluctant, but you have my trust, Corvus. I will grant you a gift, a very precious gift." Infiltrator opposite goes, "Oh, there it is." Oh, yeah.
Lurking like behind the gold clearance.
What was that? What was that? Hey, what are you going to give him? How'd you get in here? Disappears. So he puts his hand on Corax's sill again, and this time 30,000 years try to pour into him at once. Probably doesn't feel great. And all of a sudden, a flood narrows into something specific. It's a sterile chamber ringed with steel sarcophagi, incubators wired with tubes and pumps, and robed technicians speaking a language Corax doesn't know, but somehow understands it anyways. And basically, he's been given as a fragment of the actual Primarch project. That is the gift. It's basically knowledge of the Primarch project, the science that made the 20 of them in the first place. Genetic splicing, hybridization calculations, and the Mendelian eukaryotic genesis formula. That thing.
Oh, yes. Obviously.
The formula. The secret Krabby Patty formula.
The secret formula.
Plankton runs out. What?
That's the Infiltrator. He's Plankton.
I mean, if only we had an artist, the thumbnail would be Plankton and then the formula. So, and yeah, but he leaves some parts out. Right? He's like, "You don't need to know all of this. Just here's what you need to know." Because everybody doesn't trust him with everything because, I mean, you can't. But at the same time, it's so funny that so in this room, we have robe technicians speaking. I don't know if they're red robed. I don't know if they're Mechanicus. So it's like, who are those people in there with you helping you? Are they alive? Are they dead?
Yeah.
What secrets do they know? Because I'm sure Chaos would be like, "Hey, I'm gonna steal your mind for a second, person that just died." So, it's a very interesting thing there. Obviously, lore wise, they're not going to give you all that. It's just one. It also that's two Primarchs that are in there too that we don't know anything about. So that even adds even more. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, Corax says, you have given me the secrets of the Primarch project. Emperor says, the parts that were relevant to the creation of the legions, yes. He says, you're not getting all of it, all right? I'm assuming you would support. So I must return to the Webway. My absence will be sorely missed. That is all the help I can offer you. And Corax asks a question. He says, a portal, he's like, what do I do with this? There's a portal into the warp of sorts. This is my great endeavor. Oh, he's also asks, like, what's the Webway project? Because, that was a secret project that he left Olinor for. And every Primarch is like, what do you mean the Emperor's leaving? What is he doing? So he says, a portal into the warp of sorts. This is my great endeavor. Beyond the veil of reality, the forces of the Imperium wage war with a foe just as deadly as the legions of Horus. Demons. And Horus says, demons? What? We talking about demons. And he says, Horus's treachery is greater than you might imagine. He has aligned himself with the powers of the war. The so-called gods of chaos, that's what they call themselves. I've seen them. Not very impressive to me.
It's like the gods of chaos TM.
Right, but it was quote-unquote gods of chaos. Whatever. It says the demons are now his allies and they seek to breach the Imperial Palace from within. And we talked about that, right? The war in the Webway. And Corax gets the same answer that Malcador gave him as well. And it says, it is to you and your brothers who have remained true to their oaths that the physical defense of the Imperium must fall. Basically, it's like, I can't help you guys anymore. I'm too busy doing this. And it'd be fun to do like a what if episode. Like, what if the Emperor could help? It probably would be over very quickly.
Yeah, I would say, I feel like I know the answer to that. Like, it would probably not go down like that.
Like, really, it's like Magnus ruined everything. Like, obviously, it was his good intentions, but man, woof, the Magnus. But at the same time, do we know that was this Webway project already doomed to fail in a different way?
Mm-hmm.
Like, with the Emperor overreached like he always does?
Right.
We don't know. So the Emperor tells him, says, you will have the power to create armies as I once did, and that itself will be reason enough to jealously guard its existence. More than that, the gene store contains the means to destroy what is created. That which I bound within the fiber of every space marine can be undone, unraveling their strength and purpose at a stroke. That to me is so crazy that you're saying there's a kill switch I put into every space marine that you now know how to make that. But yet, I mean, this is in the past, right? This whole thing happens. Obviously, it doesn't come back up.
Right.
Of course, it's going to be like, tap, dead, tap, dead, tap, dead. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, so it's like, obviously, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But it's just like, huh? And also, wait, the Emperor, this. Why aren't you using it right now?
Right. Just go up to Horus. I guess not Horus.
Tell Malcador to send a message to one of his knights errant and say, hey, there's a switch on the back of his armor. Flip it. And then it kills Horus, right? Like, yeah. I don't know.
It's funny.
But Corax says, with my life, I'll defend it. And the Emperor says, no, you must swear more than that, Corvus. Swear to me that should our enemies learn of its existence, you will destroy it and everything created by it. It is too dangerous to be kept if there's even a possibility that Horus might take it. Obviously. I mean, that's what Alpha Legion wants. Like, if we have that switch, forget it.
Yeah.
Especially Alpha Legion. Oh, my goodness. He says, I swear as your son and servant. And the Emperor pushes even more. He says, even if it means the destruction of Ravengard and all that you've striven to build, and Corax says, even so. He says, all right, good enough. So that's where my mama. I won't do it. So he's like, all right.
Yeah, okay.
He says, but one more thing. And is that the gene tech is protected. And only the Emperor himself in person can disarm those defenses. He says, unfortunately, I cannot disarm these traps for you. You have to go in there and do that on your own. And he says, I'm sure the knowledge I've given you that you will find a way through. He says, you can't just like tell me. He's like, nope. Bye. Okay.
Oh, hey, by the way, there's a bunch of traps. Can you help me with those? No,
I'm busy. Sorry. Beep.
What was that? Huh?
There's a last part. Okay.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, no, sorry. This is a demon thing. So Corax comes back to himself on the marble floor, and Dorn and Malcador bent over him and basically like, are you all right, Ben? You kind of like gone for a second. And he says, I know what I always do now. So he does that. And a little bit of a distance away, back to Omegon. What has he been doing? He has spent less than 100 days in Kiavahr. Has already turned 3 tech guild councils into unwitting assets, running his network through cutouts and modulated frequencies. So basically, they can never trace it back to him. And he doesn't actually care if Kiavahr is free of the Imperium. He only cares that it's going to make Corax mad and possibly bring him back here. So there is a contact inside the White Iron Guild that just says, output from Manufactorum 38 has been rerouted to Manufactorum 26, Counselor. And now that doesn't sound like anything to anybody else, but there are codes hidden in that. And basically what it tells me is that the factory has been building power armor conduits since the Ravengard first arrived in Kiavahr, and production is going down instead of up, and with rumors of a new pattern in the works. And Omegon says we need an operative inside that Manufactorum 38. Basically, it's like if they're building new armor, we need to sabotage that armor. So that's what you usually see like in these pictures of Ravengard. They kind of have that beaky armor. I don't really see in these pictures, but like they usually have like a beak on their armor, and that is this type of armor they're building now. They don't really have a picture of it. That's weird.
Yeah, but I guess these are all kind of the older.
Yes,
Armor.
especially the studded armor. But let me see. I can get a picture of it here. Let's Raven Guard and that kind of armor there with the beak. And sometimes they have that, but that's more of an Iron Warriors look now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's before they had Corax was joined them. But yes. So yes, they kind of start making this beaky armor. Actually, maybe it's not the beaky armor. Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter that much. But they're getting new armor made.
Yeah.
And Omegon's like, let's get into that. Let's see what's going on there. So jumping back from that to Marcus Valerius. And he is heading back to Therion with a new command. A messenger cutter, a little messenger ship called the Servant of Terra the Third or Three, is fast-tracked and countersigned by Corax himself. Basically, I need you to go send this message. This is your job now to go send a message that I need sent out.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of feels like a fraud because they just believe it was coincidence that he saved Raven Guard, but because you feel like you can never really tell them how he knew.
Mm-hmm.
He says, but nobody can know that, or at least my partner. Braun was right. The dreams that led to our rescue attempt will be viewed as suspicion, and because it's who can think warp stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have that.
Yeah.
So before Corax departs, going back to him, Dorn asks him one more time to bring the Legion to Terra instead. And Corax says, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do something else. The Emperor's giving me something to bring my Raven Guard back.
Mm-hmm.
They start to think about it. He's like, basically, whether the Legions have failed one purpose they were built for. The Emperor made Horus War Master after all and brought the likes of the Night Hunter into his plans. Like, it seems like half of them kind of went nasty.
Yeah.
And Dorn says, Curze is one of us, though perhaps a victim of circumstances more than any of us can even imagine. And Dorn says, like, do you see, what if I went like that? And Dorn says, no, it is self-pity that I warn you against. Whether yourself or for others, your pity will be turned against you and you become a weapon of the enemy. You are a Primarch. Harden yourself to loss and woe. We're born to greatness and must endure tragedy. Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, Earl Dorn, you've been sitting on Earth the entire time.
And say, what?
I don't think you even understand.
All right.
The stuff these guys have seen.
I do think it's kind of funny. It's like Dorn, I think we talked about this when we talked about him killing Alpharius and stuff. He's not really done much except just kind of sit here and defend.
Yeah, I mean, he did get a Primarch kill, which is pretty good. But the whole time he's just sitting here just like, yeah, so put that there. Okay, we're going to put some cannons there. It's going to look great. He's just doing, what's his name from Extreme Home Makeover? He's just being Ty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bus. It's the new palace. Like, that's what he's doing. So it's like, no, you got to get used to it. I got like 10 guys left. What do you mean get used? You have like 40 million.
Yeah. It's like, no, you get over it. It's like, oh?
What? Will I? That's the whole reason I'm here is I'm not getting over it.
Yeah.
So they do the whole wrist-to-wrist thing, classic. And Rogodorn says, travel well and fight hard, Corvus. And Corax says, protect the Emperor, Rogol. And he says, I was already doing that. Of course. So it takes days, basically, of walking through waist-deep snow before Corax finds the mountain that the memories pointing towards. It's unmarked, unguarded, just bare rock. How do you hide something right in plain sight? Mm-hmm. So the Raven Guard are hauling crates up with him, and one of these people is the Infiltrator. He's like, I want to go with you. I'll help. Yeah, no, totally. Why are you so excited? I mean, I'm not actually that excited.
Aren't you like really old as a space marine? No, it's fine. I can do it.
No, I've been working out and stuff.
I also have this new move I want to teach you.
Yeah, it's another move where kill everybody. So Lucar is with him, and Lucar, it was the guy he dueled against. And Lucar says, no towers, no defense turret, nothing to protect it at all. And Corax basically corrects him. He says, hey, watch your mouth, first of all. There's nothing that says attack me like 10 kilometers of curtain wall and 100 gun towers. On the other hand, a nondescript stretch of mountain pass would be the ideal place to conceal a powerful weapon. And it's a small little thing, but the Infiltrator's like, logged.
Mm-hmm.
I know now what not to say. So, and Lucar's mistake is the kind of real Raven Guard would make. So he's like, I should say dumb stuff like that too. So he starts getting more and more information. And they're at this gate, and the mountain doesn't open for a key or a code, but opens for a sound. And Corax is like, what does it need? What sound do I need to make? Let me think. And he goes through his memories. And it's a sequence of knocks against specific points in the rock face that is tuned to a harmonic lock. And the knock is the haircut one? It's like, do, that one. And it's just like, hey, I guess.
Is it actually?
I think it is. I think that's what they reference is like, I don't know, you're just like, I always remember this.
It's an ancient knock.
It's an ancient knock that you would do to get a haircut. Was it two pennies in a haircut? What's it, like 2 pence in a haircut or something like that? I can't remember. I know it's like a certain knock. What's that one? And the doors open. And he says, in the floor is titled the numeric pattern that Corax somehow reads as a language. Is a message that has been left for the Emperor's eyes alone. Basically, the Emperor's like, I'm going to leave myself a note here whenever I come back, if I do. And it's a poem from an ancient language that nobody understands. And Corax, of course, understands it because he has the memory. And it's a poem that says, starts with, what is it? It says, I can't remember the poem by heart because I don't have my notes, the original poem, but anyway, it talks about a king who has this great thing, and he was the trunk of a leg that is broken, and the whole thing there.
Okay.
The king of kings, whose city is long gone, right? Ozymandias, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So it says, we wonder, and some hunter may express wonder like ours, when through the wilderness where London stood, holding the wolf in chase, he meets some fragments huge and stops to guess what powerful but unrecorded race once dwelt in that annihilated place. And Corax, he's not really a poetry guy, but something unsettles him about it. There's this thing like a hunter of future age picking through the ruins of a city he doesn't recognize and wondering what powerful unrecorded people once lived there. Basically, he's thinking like, is this a future thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, will this happen to us?
Right.
Ozymandias, right? And they all get inside, and the door is sealed behind them. And Corax finds Agapito already arguing with Nexon Orlandias, which is the Mechanicum genitor assigned to guide them. Because Mechanicus people are annoying.
Yeah.
Let's continue on and find more evidence. Shut up, robot man.
All right. I know, like in Space Marine 2, I think of like the second mission. They're like, "Oh, get these things for the Mechanicus guy," and he's like, "Go get the things. What are you doing? Why are you wasting so much time?"
You're taking so long.
I'm like, "Oh my god."
Can we kill him? No. They're like in their own government. So Agapito says the lives of my warriors are more important than any piece of equipment. We have lost enough legionaries already. I will not see any more fall without good cause. And Nexon says, you do not seem to understand the ways being brought to the balance. A single warrior is limited. He can only achieve so much, and his light is extinguished. A weapon, a piece of technology, a fragment of our past glories can live on for eternity. And Agapito says, life is just a commodity, right? I remember that attitude. There was one that Kiavahr Creed, basically, the slave planet. And so you say, just one life, what does it matter? So,
yeah.
Which is ironic.
Yeah.
Because he pretty much has slaves. A lot of slaves.
What was I was thinking? I was like,
they have servitors.
That's where my mind immediately went. I was like, do you think he's saying like, no, we got to free these planets? It's like, servitor, can you go give me a glass of water? It's like, what?
Servitor, bring me the key to break these chains. It's just like,
servitor, free these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a criminal. It's different, So
he deserved it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Look, either get out of those chains and leave, or I'm going to turn you into a servitor, all right? Don't panic, you're being freed. So Corax asks Nexon, directly, there's a lot of X's there, threw me off, directly, what do you think they're actually looking for? And the genitor has worked it out. He says, I do not speculate, but it is reasonable to deduce that this would relate in some way to one of 3 prior endeavors by the Emperor. The Thunder Warriors, the Primarchs, and Legiones Astartes. That one threw me off. I got so excited about Thunder Warriors, I was thrown up by the regular Space Marines. So, I mean, this is hundreds and hundreds of years old tech here. Which in 40K, usually in real life, 100-year-old tech means, I don't know, it's like a water wheel. You're like, this is cool. And in Warhammer, that's like, that means it's the best thing ever, actually. Archaeo tech is so powerful, like the Dark Age of technology, right, is how they quantify it.
Yeah.
Like, you have technology that could just do anything. Which is, I think, in a way, it's kind of not a MacGuffin, but a thing to like, they discovered this weapon, they do this from the Dark Age. It gives you like a thing to pull from whenever you don't know when. It's like, think of something.
Right.
So it's like, I think it works.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pharaohs, so I kind of think it's like, oh, how do we get more legions here? It's like, a big lighthouse.
A big ancient lighthouse that was made by aliens. Don't worry about it. It's like, it's again, Star Wars is the same thing. It's like, they make armor that lightsabers can't cut through. How? It's magic rocks. Okay.
Look, this stormtrooper has a thing that can block a lightsaber. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's rare though, so only some people have it. It's like, of course. So Corax basically says, we're hunting a way to rebuild the Legion, and the Vault's contents are be preserved wherever possible. Like, do not go in here willy-nilly breaking stuff. All right, you fools. And it says, if any life is to be put in immediate danger, we shall respond without hesitation. With that understood, there is to be no weapons fired in any other situation unless authorized by me. And he gives Nexon one more warning. He says, we have no fondness for anyone who puts industrial strength above lives or liberty. And Amegos' presence here is a courtesy that Corax can revoke. He's like, I will kick you out if I have to, you weird robot. And Nexon, it's like, fair enough. He says, but to be fair, Kyber's tech guilds were not Mechanicum on Mars, so I don't know why you're pointing at me. That wasn't my guys. Yeah.
Servitor, kick this guy out.
Servitor, question said, Servitor, put him in chains. Servitize him real quick. Mechanicus love servitors.
Yeah.
Robot slaves. What?
Yes.
So Agapito is guiding his squad to the elevator, and Corax is pulled into a memory again. And it is about Agapito. That he was a 3rd generation internee on Lycaeus. He was just a teenager when he was recruited for Corvus. And they are the kind of scene is set up where it's a staging area beside the transit shaft. About 20 prisoners armed with stolen tools, waiting on a diversion Corvus has spent a year setting up. And young Agapito was nervous enough to ask, like, what if you were wrong? And Dorsus, another slave, says, has he ever been wrong? And the messenger arrives to confirm the diversion is running. He's a nimble child who is a marathon man, right? And he can run around and get all these, move these different papers around, little sparrows, right, in Game of Thrones, spy network. And it's a free member, the one that saved Corax, and then he broke the guard's wrist that grabbed her.
Oh, yeah.
And she is 3 years older than Corvus. And she is like, worships him. Because she's like, I mean, she's so incredible. And she says, the fire has been started on the deck 4 of the north hangar. Dano and others have holed up in the maintenance bay, like what you said. So Corvus sends her up and says, good job. You're doing great. And she is the same African that's actually in the Avenger. She's still alive. And it's also the same Agapito as well. So, it's this little flashback memory of just like, Corax cares about his people.
Right.
So you can imagine how worse it was to like lose all of them at Istvaan. I mean, like, you gotta think about Perturabo's sister. He kills her. You know what I mean? Like, so Mortarion doesn't have any brothers. Angron's off his family dies. Who has his siblings? I guess Gilliman likes his mom because his mom actually was on Health, I think, or Ultramar when all that stuff is happening. I think it's Corforon or the other one threatens her. And she's like, basically, oh no, this Erebus actually has her like gunpoint. He's like, I'm going to kill you unless you tell Gilliman to come here. She's like, no, you're not. You're not going to do nothing. He's like, wait till he gets here, he's going to ruin your day or something like that. And he's like, what? You're really human. What are you talking about? Huh? And then Gilliman shows up and like throws him like through a wall or something. So, but yeah. Like, there's that. And then like, so
the Lion and Luther until later.
Luther gets nasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luther is like a weird brother, dad, uncle thing going on. But yes. So anyways, the team piles into the lift and Agapito, still just a boy, looks up the man that his commander has become, right? This Corvus Corax is like way taller than everybody, huge, in this like, stitched together uniform because nothing else fits him. And he says, I wish you were coming with us. And Corvus says, too much chance that I would be seen. If a guard were to see me, our secret would be out. Better than I keep my head down for the moment. I know you will do just fine without me. So, along the corridor afterward, Corvus nearly gets the whole rebellion killed before it starts. 3 guards walk past close enough to touch, and he's already chosen which 2 necks will break first. When the corporal stops on a stray oil stain and oils a cleaning detail. When they move on, never seeing him at all. Basically, he's hiding against the wall, and they walk right past him, like before when he was a kid. It's like, he just can't be seen. He's like, I get the camo vision on, the stealth vision. When I don't move, I turn invisible.
Yeah.
The plan holds about 40 days out from freeing the entire moon. Basically, he's learning that patience saves more lives than fight it would. It's like, just wait for it. You got to wait. Unlike Angron, where he just, I'm going to smash him into pieces. Now.
Yeah.
And so back to the present. Back in the vault, the squad is being restless. Basically watching Corax pace between a dozen branching corridors saying nothing. Because it's this huge labyrinth they got to work through. And he's like, all right, let's go down this way. Maybe this way or, this way. And they're like, where are we going? I'm bored. So can we get to kill something? And so he says, I think we're stuck. And the Infiltrator says, something isn't right. Everything about this mission has been ad hoc so far. We barely had a briefing. I'm with Canna. I think we're trapped here. And Marco, who's just the heavy weapons guy, says he has a plan. The Primarch knows it's going to be dangerous. He's facing a difficult decision. Let him think. Hold on, let him cook.
Let him cook. I like how the Infiltrator's like, we haven't had a single briefing. It's like, can we have a briefing so you can tell me your plan? And,
yeah. I need some information. Like, come on, guys, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Guys, what are we doing? I don't understand. Can somebody tell me the entire plan right now?
Can you show me the book with all the plans that are in so I can like read them? Like the playbook? And basically what happens is, as Corax is doing all this, they go over a bunch of different war stories, basically just talking about different stuff, kind of kill the time. And eventually it ends with Corax points towards one of the archvisions says, we go here. And that is where we'll pause for now, because I did have to break this up into 3 different episodes. Because this is a very long thing that happens here.
Yeah.
But yes, so any questions? Got a little bit of a cliffhanger there, but yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I want to make sure, where exactly are they during that like finding the paths and all that kind of stuff?
They're in that mountain still. The Emperor's gene vaults. The flashback going back and forth of his memories of like being patient. Basically, with those flashbacks when he's a kid, showing he's like, he needs to be patient, like figure out the proper path. Because if he goes the wrong way, he's going like something bad's going to happen. That's basically flashback. It's him as a kid telling them, you need to wait. Yeah,
and the flashbacks are on Deliverance, but then is he also on Deliverance, or is he?
No, right now he's on Terra.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, he's still on Terra. He went to some mountain and found this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Omegon's on Kiavahr doing trying to sabotage stuff. No, he's trying to get Corvus like back there or like throw off his like whole thing.
Right.
No,
Okay.
he's still on Terra. He's like left and went to go walk around some mountain range. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was like the Himalayas or where, but I can't remember what it says.
hmm
But yes,
Gotcha. Okay.
cool.
I think other than that, so the gift the Emperor gave was the
Gene knowledge.
gene knowledge. It's not a
Yeah.
gene seed for
No.
them, but it's like
It's basically the information to make Space Marines into to how to easily kill Space Marines, how to like turn them off somehow,
yeah. Okay.
which Alpharius really wants.
Right. Valid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what he tells him. Is like if this information gets out, that is the end of everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you said that doesn't really come.
obviously not. I mean,
Yeah.
we cover Alpharius getting to the solar system in Return of Dorn, and it just obviously doesn't have the information. So,
That's true.
spoiler alert. And Raven Guard, Corax, which we haven't really talked about him since this episode. I mean, I don't even know what he's doing right now in the modern thing.
Mm-hmm.
Have we even covered him? What is he doing right now?
You talking about in our
Like,
videos?
Yeah, and like the most recent stuff, I don't think we've talked about it at all.
No.
And I think that's why I forgot to make this video until now, is because I was like, what's Corax been doing? I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked about it was probably Istvaan V. We're like, oh yeah, and he's like, he gets like beat up and then they have to leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
I guess I can't really spoil it because I don't really know what happens after this. So but he does get the information and then does use it sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, we'll pause there because if we didn't, this would be almost 3-hour video. And yeah, I don't know about that one. So, but yeah, all right. Well, if that's all, if you like this one, subscribe. Well, if you like it, like it. And if you really like it, then subscribe. Tell your friends, do all this stuff, right? In the comments, put your favorite. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good bit here. Let's really do the Raven Guard. You might not know them now, but your favorite armors. Favorite Space Marine armor. There's a lot of them. A lot to pick from. There's like Mark. I think they're at Mark 15 now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's like Iron Man armor. You know, it's just there's a lot of them. So yeah, your favorite armor. You might have to look it up, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Or you just say, I don't know, I like the way the Iron Wars look with the little grill in the front, or the bird people with Raven Guard, or you know, the normal Space Marine one you always see now.
Yeah.
Mark 10, I think it is now. But yeah. All right, until then, bye.